Hello and welcome to another episode of Utopia News WARCAST. I'm your host, Wind. The date today is March 9th, year 3. Thank you so much for anyone joining me for this live podcast. We're going to do our usual thing here. Let's just look at all the wars currently in progress, maybe look a little bit closer at some of them in terms of their makeups and what happened. Of course, nothing out of the ordinary today, just a regular show. All right, let's move on. So we've got our winners finally declared in what seemed to be the longest war currently going in the age, and that was Woods versus now tagged Checkmate. If it wasn't very obvious before, I mean, you could tell just by looking at the monarch's name and some of the other provinces. We've seen those names many times. Now, WTF has won their war as well, and the Flintstones, everybody else is currently at war. So good luck to everybody still at war. And without further ado, let's take a look at wars in progress. All right, we got our first war. The Woods, good game, well played. It's time to be checkmate again. I don't think they were ever not checkmate. They just took their tag down. Looking at the land side of things, checkmate did take a nice beefy piece of land from them here. You know, a nice gain here for sure for checkmate in terms of land. These kingdoms weren't exactly the biggest to begin with, because this war has been going on for some time. Some kingdoms have had two wars, and may or since in the time that this war has begun and finished. So definitely a tough battle for Woods. I mean, definitely a learning experience with regards to how some kingdoms are more in favor of a longer play. Um, but congratulations to Checkmate. We'll see how the rest of their age goes. The Woods is a new kingdom. Everyone's it's like an initiation to fight Checkmate. They're always a good kingdom to war. So great job, Checkmate, in that. And don't worry, Sal. I'm sure your next one will be yours. All right, let's move on to the next one. Gotten our asses served. Good game. 8-2. WTF. In this war, it seemed like WTF was, fairly in control very early on. They dominated the Blue Kingdom right from the beginning. They achieved convergence basically on their second wave there. Even number of provinces here. Lots of orcs primarily versus a mix of avian and orcs. WTF, very strong kingdom makeup. I wouldn't be surprised if these orcs were pure orcs or possibly even like orc avians or something else like that. It looks like they have some of the support casters up here. Some I guess dwarves and elves are their TMs. Maybe the Dryads are considered TMs as well. They're pretty big up there. Not very high net worth saturation, which leads me to believe they were taking land. So probably the Dryads are just, they're just the support casters, basically marching armies and turtling at home, which is normal for them. Great job, WTF. Looking at the land side of things, you definitely took a good chunk of land there in that victory. Definitely more than Checkmate did there. So great job there. You definitely propelled into the top 10 with that victory. So great work there to everyone. Looking at the next war, Unnamed Kingdom versus Meet the Flintstones. Let's take a look here at the land. Clear victory here for Meet the Flintstones on the land chart. They are one province down as well, and it looks like they have one province in protection as well. I mean, so assuming that they were actually two provinces down, they did extremely well in this war. I mean, they completely dominated the enemy here. The enemy did a pretty good job keeping them in position, but that's all they did. So it kind of just looks like they just kept trimming the top here in this war, and it just didn't really do anything. This is a very strong downward trend here. Unnamed Kingdom definitely got whooped on this one. I mean, look how much honor they lost. Flintstones, nice gains, absolutely nice gains. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, this is my province that I can't starve. That's good. Probably tons of books to allocate and things like that, but no time for that. Let's move on to some of the, actually, before we move on to the wars in progress, let's take a quick look at the top 10 chart. So this is the top 10 chart currently. As you can see, Barco just narrowly held on to the top of the beginning, and then see that big win we were talking about, the WTF Kingdom, has now propelled them to be the biggest kingdom in the world. So great job for finally passing Barco. I mean, they held it basically, for almost 2 years now. We're or like a year and a half for sure. But if you hadn't come up there at the end here, as I said, we're approaching the 2 year mark since they got up here. This is about July year one. And we're currently at March year three. So, that's Barco's been sitting up there for a long time, and you know what that means. A quick look at the honor side of the chart, just to see where some of the more recent wars have finished. I mean, 4-4 is still in the clear lead. Having a beer, very nice win after Pillow Talk withdrew to them. I'm sure they're still enjoying beers as we speak. That was a very tough war for both sides. And there was a lot of intel received and gotten on that war. So again, thank you to everyone who participated in giving me some information on that war. Definitely helped us, figure out exactly what was going on. Let's move on to the wars in progress. So this is currently the longest war that's currently in progress now. How come we can't fund Dragons versus Sons of Anarchy Hostile? Now, even numbers on this side, looking at the land side of things. Sons of Anarchy definitely in control still of this war. I mean, Blue Kingdom was attempting to achieve some convergence here, but they just weren't successful in that. And it doesn't look like they will be. So, quick look at the land side of things. I mean, bottom three, both under 200 acres. Only one under 300 acres on Sons of Anarchy. Looking at the top side of things, we got three provinces on, Can't Fund Dragons side over 1,000 versus five on Sons of Anarchy. Looking at what they are. Um, this ferry is probably not even a TM. I mean, with such a low saturation of net worth, it looks like this was like a hybrid attacker of some sort. But then again, looking at the other side of the spectrum, same story we're looking at here, just slightly better position, possibly. This halfling is pretty big as well. But again, these are very inflated provinces, and if you look at the net worth per acre here, the land always lies. So I mean, highest net worth per acre is obviously the ones who've been attacked the most. But a normal net worth per acre at this time, would probably be around 200 for a province that's fully filled in. But these provinces have taken a lot of damage, so obviously the net worth to acre is going to be a little bit smaller than that. Definitely looks like more damage has been done, so the net worth per acre is going to be a little bit, a little bit more out there. Um, but it's for Sons of Anarchy because they have been growing. But it seems like Blue is growing as well. So they're both benefiting from their waves for sure. But as it stands in the honor department, Sons of Anarchy is having a strong performance now. Seems like based on the percent net worth we were just looking at indicates that Blue Kingdom was just taking back acres and trying to do honor damage as much as possible. And while Sons of Anarchy is continuing to do net worth damage. On the flip side, and you can see that here in the conversion here, they continue to do net worth damage to buildings and troops, and and thieves and wizards, while the enemy focuses more on taking acres and trying to capture that honor. But at the end, that'll kind of be their undoing. So best of luck to both sides in that war. Let's move on to the next one. We got Simpsons versus Monsters. Quick look at the land side of things. Oh, this war has actually concluded just recently. Yep, so we just I just missed that after the capture, but it looks like they withdrew right on the tick. So we will examine that war on the following tick a little bit closer. But I mean, based on the information we see here, I believe we saw monsters in a less favorable position the last time we did look at this war. So this will be updated on the chart for tomorrow. But as you can see, as we talked about yesterday, Monsters took that huge hit right here And even though they were fairly strong in attempting to recover, it just wasn't enough, and the war kind of got away from them on that. So good job, Simpsons, for taking control there. Definitely a nice little land boost for you. Just quickly go back to the land chart and see how well you actually did. Yeah, good, good. At least 5K land on that, and then honor-wise, you took a good chunk of honor as well. So Simpsons, you're starting to make your way up there into the top honor charts. So good job on this victory. Definitely a nice tough war, but you definitely outperformed the enemy after or rather in the later part of the war. So great job, good war, everybody. Let's move on to the next one. We got, who do we have here? Absolutely Ferocious versus Reborn of NOAH. Oh, wow. Looks like this war has just recently ended too. So another war where they withdrew right at the end. Again, this will be indicated on the chart for tomorrow as I do snapshot it on the 7th. So they fell just after the cutoff. I even waited right till the end of the tick. But wow, look at the acres, that Reborn of NOAH is taking on this one. I believe I had some information on this as well. Just bear with me here for a moment. Here we go. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I've got some information on the 6-3 and 2-4 war, and I think I have some information on the other war as well, although I don't seem to recall where it is at this time. Right. So, oh, that's right. It was in my mailbox actually. The king was so kind as to send me some mail from Absolutely Ferocious. So here's a kind of look at what the situation was. So this is basically right before withdrawal. Um, or was it typed at the 7th? Yeah, 54 minutes. So this is basically right before their withdrawal. I mean, uh, absolutely ferocious. It's pretty significant, the difference there. The looks like rather the TM war was pretty balanced. Peons were pretty balanced. The military was slight advantage, but then of course that comes with the econ and the peons. Definitely both sides, seemingly looking at the KD econs, were doing pretty well, but absolutely ferocious. Just seems like there wasn't too much they were able to do here. I mean, Reborn of NOAH took so much land during the process of the war. Um, it seems like they just gave the victory to them because according to the honor chart here, absolutely ferocious actually won this war, even though Reborn of NOAH seems to have been running away with the acres. I gotta double check this actually because it looks like conflicting data there on the honor chart side of things. So I'd look into that a little bit closer. But we can quickly figure that one out for sure. That's very strange, actually. You know, they. I wonder, from the honor chart side, it looks like absolutely ferocious has won this war. But then from the land side of things, usually a land victory will propel you up. But based on this land acre gain, it looks like the war was taken by absolutely ferocious. So Reborn of NOAH just really was just taking acres and then ran into the ceasefire. Very interesting behavior. NOAH was definitely kicking butt in this war, but for some reason they gave it away. But both kingdoms still ended up on very even terms. I mean, aside from the land, um, it's a pretty significant land gap there, as we see here. 26K acres and 15K acres. Um, both sides still doing extremely well on the land side of things. So I'm not sure why Reborn of NOAH withdrew. I mean, maybe there were some provinces they couldn't break, or maybe they both just got fed up and withdrew because Absolutely Ferocious wasn't withdrawing. But whatever the case may be, very strange. Hopefully someone reaches out to me from one of the kingdoms to let me know, what the purpose of this withdrawal was, because, it definitely seemed like Reborn of NOAH was on track to win this war. So, it's very interesting to see what happened here. I mean, maybe they just got tired of war. So definitely, if anyone knows what happened, definitely reach out to me and let me know, what went down and why it seems like, Reborn of NOAH withdrew. I'll probably have to pull the news on that one. We'll talk a little bit about more on this one in the next podcast. As I said, it did fall off the radar at the end. But yeah, I kind of want to know more as to what happened in that war. So let's go on to the next one, Rebuilding Kingdom versus, guess what? Guess what came in as the smaller kingdom. I believe. Oh yeah. So this is the war that was originally 13 versus 8, and now it's down to 7, I think. Not too much to look at in this war. You can see here they lost their provinces, and they're still winning. They're still in a winning position. Um, so good luck to both parties in this war. I'm not exactly sure again what the purpose of this war is, but yay war. All right, let's move on to the next one. Drunken Party versus Why Did Tom Quit? Looks like Take Two's been restarted. The enemy has one province up, or this is just a new player that the Tom Kingdom has gotten there. I'm not sure. Looking at the damage side of things, though, it looks pretty even. Acres taking both positive. Tom Kingdom definitely lost some honor. Lots of honor gained on Drunken Party side. Just by looking at those numbers alone makes me think Drunken Party's doing very well. Tom Kingdom has the acres advantage here, but you know what that means. It's usually a little bit fatty. Um, Despite the fact that the Tom Kingdom is in the upper position, these numbers tell a very interesting story because, look at the honor. That's the honor difference here. I mean, again, Tom is missing that one extra province, so it's a little bit easier to take and maintain that honor. But as you can see here, Drunken Party's done a lot of honor damage, possibly with the targets they picked and the TM damage that they're doing. They're taking a lot of that honor away. But looks like the Tom Kingdom went for some fairly deep chains here, and that's probably why we see them in the upper hand position with regards to land and net worth. But again, it's this war looks like it's turning into one of those smiley face wars. This is the beginning of the smiley face effect that Wood's kingdom saw in their war that lasted a long time. You can see it. You can see it forming there, right? Um, there's half of it right there. I mean, that's kind of certainly what it looks like. I mean, if Tom doesn't play this war carefully, Drunken Party might be poised to take it from them. So let's definitely see what happens going forward in this war. 84 hours. It's been quite some time. I'm sure a victor will emerge shortly in this one, because if Drunken Party doesn't have a way to rebound on the net worth, they're just going to walk away with land and honor. So we'll see if Drunken Party's plan is just to walk away with land and honor, or maybe this is some plan by the Tom Kingdom to close out the war, or possibly just another phase of Drunken Party's, war that leads into a war of attrition that lasts more than 7 days. So best of luck to both sides. Let's move on to the next one. We've got War Agreed versus WARHorses. War Agreed. Even numbers on both sides. Doesn't look like we have anyone in protection or anything like that. Quickly looking at the land side of things, this war's 33 hours, so we're not quite at min time yet, but looks like a tough battle on both sides with regards to land. Looking at the bottom three provinces, War Agreed seems to be in a better position, whereas these three orcs are all sub 300. Not a very good position for them. Flipping it over to the top side of things, we got orcs at the top, which means these are just paperweights holding down, um, holding the acres for now. And again, some humans. This gnome's probably a TM, is with maybe a small army. I mean, it's probably a very effective province, that gnome. Human Elf. This is another TM. So it looks like War Greed actually has some TM stacked at the top of their net worth brackets, and they're definitely in control of the upper net worth bracket at the moment with these bigger provinces. Several several approaching 250,000, or and if you even almost the same amount approaching 200,000. Whereas there's clearly a good amount of damage has been done to the core and some of the TMs it looks like as well down here. These orcs are part of the main core though, so probably around min time or the next wave, those orcs will probably get taken out, or at least one or two of them will get targeted, and they'll lose a significant amount of land and whatever honor they have. Definitely looks like War Greed is in the upper hand position again, as I said, from the net worth side of things. Honor side of things, War Greed came in the bigger, more honor kingdom. WARHorses did a good job of capturing that honor. Doesn't look like War Greed was able to achieve convergence and take back their position in honor. So again, it looks like WARHorses could walk away with some decent honor on this one. But either way, I think whoever does win is going to get a nice little boost in acres. But based on this back and forth, it seems like they both will. So best of luck to everyone in that war. Let's move on to the next one. We've got Home Sweet Home versus Stay Out. So let's take a look. Stay out. I mean, that just kind of makes me want to like snatch news and do SOTs and stuff and CBs and see what's up. I love when people put things like statements like that in their name. It's just so tempting. All right, so let's take a look at this. Looks like Stay Out is in the land control position. However, that could very well just mean they're a little bit inflated in comparison to their enemy. This war is only 13 hours old, so at best, there's probably only one or two waves that have happened here so far, a hostile and possibly even a war wave. Kind of looks like maybe just a war wave has happened, and they're just waiting for the armies to come back. This war is 13 hours old. So, it'd be interesting to see how this goes, but you can see some deep chaining here already on a dwarf and an undead. Net worth's not very high, rather net worth breakers not very high, so it's likely those were just attackers or hybrids, and not a TM province per se. Looking at the change on this side, variable damage done to some random provinces, all attacker core. Um, this fairy was the hardest hit, and to be honest with that net worth breaker, he might not even have been. I mean, it's possible they hit him because he has no offense, but interesting. Definitely taking out the core is the way to go. So, I think Stay Out is in a good position right now. Definitely, they played their opening very strong, and as you can see, it really shows here. They're growing. They took their wave from the enemy. The enemy waved them. They're approaching their next wave now. This is something you don't see very often. I mean, good job to the Stay Out Kingdom. For like right when the war starts to achieve that level, of a degree angle after taking the hits going down, on a rebound like that. That's phenomenal work there. Phenomenal province management. Definitely a war to watch. Probably one I'll pull some intel on, unless it's a total stomp out, in which case we'll basically know what happened. So best of luck to both sides. Let's move on to the next war. All right, who do we have here? We've got Raw is War versus War Greed 2-4. Let's take a quick look at the land side of things. This war is only 13 hours old as well. Another strong opening for land attacks on both sides. As you can see here, very significant losses to this dwarf and this fairy and these dwarfs and these fairies. Looks like this is a fairy dwarf kingdom. Very interesting. Probably a mixture of attackers and TMs, or all a combination. Would be interesting to see actually what Raw is War has in their makeup. But they definitely took some strong chain damage here, as you can see, versus like a light hitting, light slapping on War Greed side. So definitely, Raw is War is in a good position still, but they took a lot of damage there. Looking at the net worth side of things, Raw's War did meet 2-4 um, in their ceasefire to go to war with them. But as you can see here, they're again, they've got a nice strong position entering the war, even though they had to grow to meet them. I mean, that's a pretty good amount. I mean, they almost doubled in net worth, leaving their ceasefire to meet an opponent that has already been there for some time. Um, you know, it's not like they had just finished their war recently either. So, but again, very strong trends here. However, it doesn't seem like they're pushing the Blue Kingdom down that hard. It almost looks like they're starting to lose a little bit of momentum here. Definitely a bit of a stronger pattern for the Blue Kingdom. Time will tell. Um, just looking at the makeup here, dwarf, 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 avian, fairy, dwarf. I mean, very similar kingdoms on both sides. But I feel like the dwarf fairy combination should be the stronger one. However, you know, again, they did grow to meet them, a kingdom that has been sitting out of war for a little bit. So unless they played their dragons and rituals correctly, um, they may not be able to hold on to this war for too long. We'll see by mid time exactly what it looks like. So best of luck to both sides. I do have some intel here for this war, 6-3 versus 2-4. Um, these are the KD econs. So again, let's just do a quick reminder of who these kingdoms actually are, because we do have the data here. Okay, well, this makes it easy. 2-4 is Raw is War. Okay, and 6-3 is War Agreed. Okay, there we are. Okay, so looks like this data is coming from 6-3. So they started an Emerald Dragon project on Feb 4th. So 6-3 started the Emerald Dragon project on Feb 4th, which is actually um, Jan 4th in the game here. So about right there. And as I said in a previous video, I'm going to try and match, with regards to the line, I'm going to put any notes corresponding to the kingdom, on that side of the line. So Raw's War notes will be at the top, and War Agreed will be at the bottom, because that's currently how the orientation is at this time. So based on this information, we know that 6-3 started an Emerald Dragon at 2-4. So 6-3 is Raw's War. Starts Emerald. Okay. And it looks like there's some back and forth based on this intel here. Oh, look at that. So Feb 20th, Nautilus has completed the dragon. And then right away, they receive a dragon as well. So on the 20th, they complete their dragon, and the enemy sends an Emerald Dragon as well, which must have been started before this news was captured. So where's the 20th here? Both sides. So right at the onset of war, basically, right where they both should have had their emeralds. Emerald. And from what I can tell, neither side has slain that emerald yet. Let's see if I can see that. Here we are. Our kingdom has begun a topaz dragon on the 20th. Okay, so 6-3 starts a topaz dragon as well. So we'll go here and change the color. There we are. Okay, so remember 6-3 is at the top. This is all on the 20th, right? So again, I'm gonna put up visual aid here. So that right there, basically, again in the thing, it's it says Jan 1st, so it's a little bit over. Oops. Yeah, we just wanted to go back. There we are. So Jan 1st, pretty much right there. Try and get that on that line. That's close as it's gonna get. Okay, so that's actually Feb 1st. Okay, and then Feb 20th, and then this is March right here. So right underneath the topaz. There we are. Okay. So it looks like, and just to give you an idea of where the war started, or where they started growing, they basically started leaving right here. So right where my arrow basically is pointing, that was Jan 1st. All right, so it seems like, they had a nice little lead up to this war. Definitely seems like it may have been arranged. Um, other than that, let's take a quick look to see if I missed any information. A good amount of hits exchanged, I have to say. We'll look at the Seraphim just after to see. Looks like they started developing an affluent as well on the 21st. Again, that's 6-3. Um, yeah, interesting. Okay, so on the 23rd, which is, right here. Strange. It's like they're almost certain they're going to win. Um, you know, just they start their affluent backup ritual. Now, I believe I had some additional notes about this one. Um, Sorry, that's not a very good color. Let's go a little bit brighter. Okay, so they started their affluent at that point too, um, and that was on the 23rd. Okay, and as I said, I think I had some other notes about this one. Let me just check my Discord here. Okay. So it looks like, according to my source here, um, 6-3 is almost up 40k peasants and 7k troops, at this time. And 2-3 actually abolished the onslaught ritual, but not until after the full wave. Um, and the second affluent ritual is an affluent, and it's pretty much already ready to go. So it looks like, what he's saying is their ritual was probably abolished, somewhere in here. So this is the onslaught. I gotta put it up here. So I'm gonna make the onslaught red, and we're gonna go like that. So it looks like they, whatever onslaught they did have, it was a bit, it was past its time, enough time to be abolished. Um, but they definitely waited a little bit until the wrong time. I mean, who knows how many hits they actually, well, actually, we do know how many hits they got off before the dragon was slain. So on the 24th, looks like they slew the dragon that was ravaging their lands. So they both, kind of rode out those emerald dragons. They both had. So this dragon here was slain though. So just gonna go like that. And it was right on the 24th. So they slew their dragon. And to be honest, it's very likely that I don't have this confirmed, but it's very likely that this dragon was slain as well. But again, I can't confirm that at this time. More intel will tell us for sure, but we know for sure that 6-3 has slain their emerald that they were sitting on. Um, but it's unlikely. I'm thinking that blue would have slain the dragon, but they may have. I mean, it's very likely they may have. but it seems like they're busy abolishing that onslaught. So could they do both at the same time? Not sure, but time will tell. Quick look at the Seraphim formatter, 6-3 down on acres and but up on attacks. In terms of the number of hits, they had a very strong wave there. Just looks like I'm missing some of the data here. Let me just double check. Um, yeah, I am actually missing some of the data here. I'm not sure why it didn't get formatted correctly. Let me see if I can do that again. We'll see if we come up with something different because it doesn't look like I have all of the Seraphim data here. It looks like it's just showing 6-3's attack, or at least their wave. Yeah, sorry, there we go. But I'm not sure why the oh, there it is. It's just because the other kingdom has such small names. Um, didn't even notice them down there in comparison to these ones. Looks totally different. All right, yeah. So 36 attacks versus 29, only about 500 or 600 acres difference. Not a huge deal here. Um, both sides look like they open pretty well. This guy just got rocked though. It'll be interesting to see what Illa does to try and get out of that. But in comparison, it looks like 6-3 did a nice deep chain on one province, whereas the enemy, this was their version of a chain here. These three provinces here, kind of a micro chain. Maybe just all it did was really control their economy. So again, definitely a war to watch. We'll just flip through to the honor side and see if any of this corresponds here. I mean, tiny little things here when the emeralds drop, but very strong position for the Blue Kingdom here in terms of holding their honor. Looks like there is a lot of honor to be taken here, so go get it, Red Kingdom. All right, best of luck to everyone there. We're going to close this. We're going to close this. All right. We got Mickey wonders when, and Syndicate comes for Mickey. So I guess this might be Mickey's kingdom. Hard to say. Let's take a look here versus Syndicate, who we know before. Um, Very strong performance here by both sides. Definitely more land taken by Syndicate on the opening wave. This war is only 11 hours old. Um, Definitely, again, stronger trend lines here. We're just going to sweep that up. Uh, it's a very steep drop down versus a slight more of a slope. However, looks like the Mickey Kingdom comes close to achieving some kind of convergence here, but is unable to make it at this time. Looks like they both kind of grew a little bit to go into this war. One started a little bit earlier than the other, um, but it's definitely probably going to be a good match. And I think the Mickey Kingdom is in a great position overall because if you look at this trend line, over time, like over the entire um, occurrence of this wave, they're almost fairly even. And as I said, I think if Mickey Kingdom continues this trend, they'll be in a good position to win this war, or at least have a good shot at making it a very even and exciting war for both sides. I mean, look at the honor side of things. That's quite the swing. Um, Mickey wonders when did a nice job taking that honor back after that huge dip. You know, Kind of tells me they really went after one or two provinces here, and that's the case. Um, you know, this Krang took really bad hits there. Um, that's a lot of net worth to lose. I mean that's 2/3 of your net worth almost. So he's hit really hard. I mean this guy's only lost about half of his net worth in comparison. So I would say definitely the Mickey Kingdom has done a significant amount of damage to Syndicate. Syndicate slightly, slightly less. Um, and that's kind of why I feel like the Mickey Kingdom should be achieving convergence and divergence probably in the next 24 hours or so. So definitely another great war to watch. Both very talented kingdoms. Looks like Syndicate is down one player though, so this is going to make it tough for them. But let's see how it goes. Best of luck to both sides. Let's look at the next war. Oh, here we go. Utopian Crosswords versus Chaos Neverending. Now, Chaos has been kicking butt this age. Utopian Crosswords recently lost to Barco, who ended up taking the top position after that war. Let's see if Utopian Crosswords can pull this one off. I mean, it's one thing losing to one of the best kingdoms or, the top kingdom in the age at the moment. It's another thing to lose to a kingdom that you typically would normally beat most of the time. I mean, Chaos Neverending has been getting surprisingly good over the past few ages. They've always been pretty good, but I feel like, they've had some extremely strong ages recently, and this is another one. They're doing extremely well. So without going into this too deeply, because there isn't too much data, um, you know, doesn't seem like, you know, let's just put it this way. Chaos has the honor to lose. Um, Utopian Crosswords, again, nothing to lose here. Chaos has the land to lose. It's all a matter of the net worth game here and who can maintain it. But as you can see, like the Mickey Kingdom, Utopian Crosswords managed to achieve that convergence or near convergence. I think it's only a matter of time, 24 hours before we start seeing a pattern, not too dissimilar to the last war. So best of luck to both sides in that war. And looking at the last kingdom, or rather war, Unnamed Kingdom versus Unnamed Kingdom. I don't know how you war yourself, but they do have their own um, locations. They're not the same kingdom. But again, looking at this, they're already one short. They got two provinces that are, we'll look at this one, brand new province. Where's the other one? Brand new province. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure, exactly what's going to happen in this war, although I think I have a pretty good feeling. This is going to be a tough one. Um, Blue Unnamed Kingdom versus Red Unnamed Kingdom. Definitely looks like it's a tough war, but again, there's probably attackers probably sitting at home not doing anything. Um, Definitely interesting patterns and trend lines here. So even though this war is only 2 hours old, it'd probably be worth checking out in 24 hours just to see what's going on there. Um, so, we're going to take a quick look just to see if there's any other current wars that we missed before concluding the show. I, of course, want to thank everyone who's gone to war, everyone who shared information with me to make this podcast possible. Just going to take a quick moment now to check out the chat. There's no chat to address at this time. Take a quick look at the Discord.